I'll go through desktop mode. I think now able to see my one.
Yes, sir.
Ah, it's fine, no? Overview of fracture mechanics. It's
Yes,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we'll go through with that. So as we discussed it, something like the introduction about the course, no, fracture mechanics, how it got came to the world. As I told the beginning, people were using different materials for their applications or day-to-day activities like utensils, some other things, no. Then later the metals were actually found to be useful, so people started metals like steel, aluminum, copper, brass, something like that for the applications. In fact, those things were in a very early stage. It was something for vessels and some other things only. Only the 18th century beginning, people started using those things, especially Europe and America. Started the using these metals. They have started boilers, the locomotive engines, and similar kind of military applications, something like that they have used. Then later they found actually this whatever the things got failed, then they were analyzed it, then they could correct it. But still, in spite of the correction, all these things, but still they are getting, without their understanding or assumptions, something. Still, some kind of spectacular failures. They found. Okay, then only people across the world, okay, Japan, um, Europe, US, somewhere people are all like assembled, and they thought about, discussed about the things, and they actually wanted to something like in depthly they want to see that the kind of failures reasons that the report submitted by the lead committee, no, that is called fracture mechanics. Okay, so this is how the subject is got evolved. As I told very clearly that what is the flaw and how the flaw or inherent flaw usually happens in the materials, all those things we have seen. So ultimately, what exactly the fracture mechanics I told you, something like a component is there. The component is already having some kind of failure into that. Not failure, some kind of small crack or small material discontinuity. With that, one can throw the material. No, it is not possible because I told you the reason. These are all very costliest material for rockets and other highly precise, sophisticated equipments. So we cannot simply throw it out because huge cost involved in that. So people have came out with a process called um, okay, damage tolerant approach. So with that damage, can we use the component? That is the thing. So for that, actually, they need to study with the that particular damage. One can remodel the structure and apply, analyze it, so that one can find, okay, the what you call that. Uh, Damage, okay, the aftermath of the damage. So that means if I apply the load, what will happen to the existing damage? Will it same as it is, or is it growing, or it makes very unwanted things, so this kind of things. So with that study is called damage tolerant design approach. Okay, damage tolerance different. So this damage tolerance design approach is not again a simple one. Something like you need a lot of understanding about the materials, mechanics, manufacturing techniques. So it's something like you need a lot of in-depth knowledge. Okay, that is what the subject fracture mechanics is, something like an advanced topic. Okay, advanced topic and specialized topic. Okay. um, if you take, let us take a tensile test. If you do at the laboratory, it gives you information like Young's modulus. Okay, Young's modulus. So, and also you can also find the Poisson's ratio. Okay, appropriate instrumentation you need to make. What is Poisson's ratio? Once I pull the material on one side, if I could see what happened to my lateral direction, one can easily find the um, what you call that Poisson's ratio. Okay, similarly in bending analysis. Okay, bending analysis, you can get the bending stresses, and also you have a lot of postulations like linear variation of the stresses across the thing, top compression, bottom tensile, and so on, how the things vary. Similarly, for torsional analysis, one can find a circular shaft, how the shear stress is coming. All you know very well, the shear stress at the center point is 0, maximum at the periphery of the shaft. That you know the reason T by J is equal to G d alpha by dl is equal to tau by r. Once using this relation, one can easily prove that yes, this is something, maximum is this point, minimum is this point, like that. So these are all the knowledge you have acquired so far. Okay. So with that knowledge, why the rail section got a particular shape, railway track, have you seen? That is the most efficient section, high strength, and also most efficient cross section. But these are all something like, separate studies. If you do torsional separately or bending separately, axial separately. But when you combine these effects, tension, torsion, bending, okay, how to get the failure? So how to get failure? Because tensile failure, I'll know. If the tensile stress is more than that, I know it is going to fail. Similarly, compression. The compressive strength of the material is something like more than, less than that. One can easily design the structure. Similarly, shear stress. But now a situation comes where you will have a combination of load. Then how do you take the failure mechanism? That is where you have the yield theory come in handy. Okay, yield theories are coming in handy. So the concept of principal stress has greatly simplified the analysis of combined stresses. Okay, principal stresses, sigma x plus sigma y plus r minus root of so and so, wherein you are using the what you call that two-dimensional direct stresses, so that you will get principal stress 1, principal stress 2. So these are all the maximum minimum stresses in a system. So from that you can easily compare these results with the strength of the material. One can design the structure. Okay, so yield theories are not just one, but many. Of course, Tresca criteria. You will have von Mises stress criteria. With respect to composites, you might have studied a Sai-Wu, Sai-Hill, Hazen. So these are all some of the failure criteria. Okay, so using that only, final design has to be implemented. That means you can make sure that material will fail or not. When you have a complex stress mechanism, you can use that or adapt the failure theories. You can easily design the structure. So in conventional design methodology, yielding was considered as failure to avoid all cost of. So yielding, normally we don't take the structure to break into things. As long as the structure becomes yielding means a start, then you can say this is the safest level. You will design for that particular stress only. You will design only yield stress, not the ultimate stress. Why you bother to not taking ultimate stress? Because that's a very critical region. So that is what we stopped, or we will take the yield stress is the design stress till then particular point. Okay. So sometimes the failure mode may be a buckling. Okay. When you deal with the thin structures, buckling is one of the issues. Okay. Wherever you have compressive stresses, okay, buckling is one of the failure stresses. This probably you might have seen in your last week experiments, no? Buckling analysis, using the theoretical or the you have made this one buckling. Recently you have done the experiment. So why actually we are talking all these things means these are all the general things what you have learned so far. Okay, yeah, buckling in the direct compressive load, This is buckling due to bending. Okay, buckling due to bending, because since you are applying bending load only, but it is buckles. This is plate buckling. Okay, if you apply a plate, okay, how a plate buckle means in this kind of wave shapes only. Okay, so ultimately, what is our why we are going for thin structures? Mainly for the weight saving purposes. Weight saving purposes. So the early 18th century people, the development of locomotives, railway engines. Okay, in India, I hope you must have read. No, first rail was between Thane and Mumbai or something like that. Okay, the completely a steel. Okay, the whole locomotive is steel, steam engines with something like that made of steel. The development of SN curve. Have you heard about this SN curve in your composite mechanics, pa? The SN curve. Have you heard about any point in time this SN curve designing structures? Hello?
No, sir.
No. So this SN curve is something like every material, okay, every material in the world, especially metals, if you take the materials data book, you will find this particular SN curve. So the S means in the y-axis, N means in the x-axis. So what is S means? It is something like, let us say it's a strength. Let us say it's a strength. And what is N? It is number of cycle. Number of cycles. Number of cycles. Just a minute. I will take the electronics board so that I will explain you in a better sense. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, because why I specifically, talking about this SN curve means this is one of the important material data. Okay, this is one of the material data, the what you call the SN curve. Okay, so SN curve means any material you take, even whatever I am discussing, you can do some homework. Okay, what exactly Sir told about SN curve? He has given some idea, but a fair idea is given, but still I want to know something. Then in such cases, you please go through that. Something, any material, let us say aluminum, so let us say, okay, something like that. This is the curve. This is SN curve. This is S. This is N. This is usually log scale. Okay, 1, 10, 100, 1000. Okay, 10,000, 1 lakh, like that it goes. Okay, this is strength. Now, here, I'm going to introduce a term called fatigue loading. Have you heard about fatigue loading, Pa?
Sir,
Yes,
you told about it, sir. It is the compression loading and tension loading.
Yeah, exactly, correct.
Alternative.
Yeah, alternative loading. Okay, this is fatigue loading. Why fatigue load is important? Because most of the failures happening because of the fatigue loading. Fatigue loading means fatigue nature loading. Aircraft isn't it? No, our aircraft, okay, ground, going, airborne, coming down, stopping, going, okay, okay, take off, airborne, coming down, going, taking. So what is that? This is fatigue. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes.
measure, maybe it comes go like that. So it's a fatigue loading. So okay, so why I'm saying fatigue loading now? When we talk about SN curve, I will connect it now. Now, simple experiment I'm doing. Simple experiment. Yeah. A beam. Okay. I'm applying P. What is the style of P? This one. Cyclic load. Okay. I'm applying load, releasing load. It is going like this. Up and down, going. Okay. Load coming, going, coming, going, coming, going, coming, going. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay. On the this one. Simple beam made of steel. What will happen? Okay, every time it comes and goes, now this load, that is one cycle. Okay, okay, a beam is going like this, then it is coming like this. That means one cycle. If I pull up, it will go up. Which one? Stress or load, let us say P. Then I am giving negative load. So likewise, one cycle, one cycle. Likewise, you know, I can apply, keep on applying. Do you think that if I keep on applying, what will happen? Now a question will come. You may ask, sir, what is the magnitude of P? A question will come, isn't it? No. Sir, what is the magnitude? Yes, you are applying sinusoidal load. Fine, fine, sir. Okay, what is the magnitude of loading? A question will come. Fine. Let us say, okay, I have, okay, I have what you call that? Similar beam, same setup. Okay, I'm having same setup, but 5 experiment going parallelly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, same sinusoidal load. P, 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 P. Okay, P. All are P, but only okay here. Let us say P1 kilonewton, P2 kilonewton, P3 kilonewton, P4 kilonewton, P5 kilonewton. Let us say, okay, everything same, same material, same setup, same length, same breadth. Only my load is changing. Sinusoidal load is changing. Okay, so if I say, okay, if I say this P, no, suppose another case I'm taking. I'm applying a P. Okay, so what will happen? The beam will bend. Or what will happen? The beam will get stressed. Beam will get stressed. Okay, so I am applying a load P. A stress is producing for the that P, whatever X load or Y load. A stress is producing. Then this stress, let us say instantaneous stress I for the P, or the stress belong to P. I am comparing with my yield P. What is this yield P? Any idea? This delta Y, which I have taken from the laboratory test. Have you done the laboratory test? Yes, of course, you have done it. Your 7th semester, and I'm sorry, your 3rd semester, sigma Y. So this is the limiting stress yield level. Okay, so I'm comparing every time if I apply my P, I'm comparing this particular sigma with my delta Y. Why? Because this is my limiting stress. If any stress which is going with this is greater than this fellow, then I'm expecting failure will come. That is what I always compare with my sigma y. I have to make sure that, okay, this particular p which causes a sigma, that sigma is called sigma p, always it should be less than sigma y. All of you understood this concept, design principle?
Yes,
This is
sir.
the general design principle, simple design principle. Any ambiguity in this particular thought process?
No, sir.
No, yeah, it won't. It's a straightforward approach. Okay. Now you have to be careful. The P which we have taken here, Nopa.
Sir,
The
we are
P
not
which,
able to see your pointer, sir.
just a minute. Even I could not see.
Yes.
You can see this P, no? This P.
Yes, sir.
Okay, P, whatever I'm applying, I make sure that the P will not cause any stress sigma y. Okay, it is well within sigma y. This particular P which I'm applying, this 5 specimen, 1 kilonewton and 2 kilonewton, which causes a stress, no? It is less than sigma y. Okay, in that P only I'm applying. Okay, so do you think that this particular components will fail or not?
After a particular number of cycles, maybe it can fail, sir, but
First course it will not fail, isn't it? No.
yes, sir.
Yeah, you are correct, absolutely. Why it is failing? I am applying less than sigma y, no? Why it is failing? Because according to our study, stress should reach sigma u only, it's supposed to fail, isn't it? No.
Yes, sir.
Even not sigma y, sigma u, still much ahead. But I have applied just less than sigma y, but still after so much application of load, it is failing. Why? You are correct. Why?
Hmm.
Why? Now I'm throwing another way. All of you done tensile test in your 3rd semester materials lab?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So all 6 of you might have maybe different batch. Is it your specimen failed exactly at same location for all the 6 people?
No, sir.
No. Why the change in that particular reason? Why? Why it is not consistently failed at the same location? Because same length, same dia, same material, same batch of that particular steel rod. Why for each team it got separated? What may be the reason?
Loss in the material, sir.
Loss in the material. What do you mean by loss in the material?
Loss, sir. Loss.
Sir, material is not uniform.
Yes, sir. Something like
Okay, material is not uniform. That is the flaw, isn't it? No, in general time you can say flaw, correct. Then now parallelly, we who took the 3rd semester mechanics of materials to you? Me or Lakshman sir?
So you only taught mechanics of materials labs.
Okay. Lab, theory?
Theory, Whiteless, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, fine, no problem. Now the question in front of you is I'm applying these P's. Now our conversation starts from SN curve. For that SN curve, I have drawn a typical curve. For that, I'm coming out with this particular thing. So now I have to relate this explanation with this one. I supposed to come. I'm just coming to that level only, but I'm keep on slightly relating other things so that you will understand better the material mechanics. That is my idea. You guys know very well that this is my specimen. which you have given inside the my testing, tensile testing. So you know the failure, you know, what do you call that? The failure is something like that only you got, isn't it? A cup and cone. Do you know cup and cone failure?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? No, this is the failure, isn't it? No, specifically cup and cone. We told you on that day why cup and cone, because it's a yielding material. Yielding. If it is a brittle material, chalk piece, it fails like this. Do you know that? A chalk piece will fail like this.
Yes, sir.
Only yielding material fails cup and cone. This idea, you know,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because these are all very, very basic, Palm. Why I'm saying all these things. You have to distinguish the character of the brittle materials and ductile materials. That is important. We assume that these things already we taught in the mechanics of materials or in the laboratory. Probably you may miss it. So the very important thing is character of material. The very basic character is, or the very basic difference is, let us say, ductile and brittle material. So for what is ductile material? Like metals, anything which you apply load, a tensile load, the material before failing, it's like yields like a jaw mithai, then it's a ductile material. But if your material you pull without yielding, suddenly it fails into pieces, means it is a brittle material. For good example, for ductile material, mild steel. Brittle material, chalk piece. Chalk piece. Okay. This is a very simplest example one can understand about the character of the material. So by after a material got failed, I'm investigating that failure. So by looking the failure surface, one can reiterate that what type of material it is, how it got failed. If you see cup and cone nature of failure surfaces, then one can say the material is a yielding material. If I see a flat surfaces, then I can see something like this is a brittle material. Now, when we coming to, I will come to SN curve, don't worry. So now, when we something like what you call that, a material, high strength materials, you believe it or not, those things are all very having the maximum character of brittle material. High strength, the metals. Okay, when the metals become high strength, they will lose its yielding property, rather they will gain the strength property. You understood my concept? If you see stress strain graph, what is high yielding material? It goes like that. Whereas high strength material, can you see able to see my graph?
Yes,
This
sir.
is high strength. Here, this is high strength. But you can see the yielding energy is more here compared to here. Now you understood?
Yes, sir.
The energy important. This is strain energy, isn't it? No, off into stress into strain is the energy. Yielding material possesses a lot of resilient energy. Though material is strong, but they will not give any warning before fail. Suddenly it will fail. But whereas yielding material, it will give you warning before fail, so you can easily escape. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is the reason in your buildings. Okay, have you seen? Okay, a beam is been casted. Okay, casted beams in your buildings. Usually in your houses, you can see that. Okay, it is a made of concrete, but you can see steel rods they will put inside. So the concrete is highly brittle material. The steel is ductile material. So the concrete will take very good compressive strength. The steel will take very good tensile strength. That's the reason this works in a very effective, nice. That is what people are using the concrete for your buildings. So it's a composite. Basically, it is a composite material. Now I'm coming to the SN curve. So I have introduced a fatigue load. Okay, as you said, you repetitively apply the load. Even then you are applying the material stress less than its yielding, but still it will fail means there should be some reason. Agreeing with me or not?
Yes, sir.
All of you?
Agree, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So for that, one example is probably all you might have done. All you might have done in your young age, or even now also you might have tried. Simply you might have taken some small, thin wire, probably wherever you found in a construction site or somewhere, a thin piece of wire you can take. Okay, a thin piece of wire. Probably the people used to call it's called binding wire. They just to actually connect the rods. They will use the thin wire. You take that wire, you just bend it. You just bend it. Okay, it will not fail. Then you stretch back. It will not fail. You bend it. It will not fail. But at the same time, if you does the same thing on a chalk piece, first occurrence itself it will fail. But in steel, okay, once you bend, it is bending. You just okay, straighten it will come. But you keep on doing. Do you think that infinite times can you do that, or one point in time you feel different?
At
Have
a
you
point it will
experienced?
break, sir.
See, if you apply more stress means it's supposed to fail at first instant itself. But do you know that when it will fail, which cycle it will fail? Do you know that?
No, sir.
But you will give some number of cycle, isn't it? No.
Yes, sir.
It depends which cycle it fails. Now, can you repeat? Okay, so that is what now this 5 specimen, same specimen. Okay, if I give, I don't know, but one particular cycle, it will fail. Okay, that is what in this particular experiment. Okay, the what you call that, the instrumentations will give me. Okay, once I apply the load, automatically this will be the acquisition, data acquisition takes place. How many cycles I'm applying? What is my stress level? Then when it is failing, so it will give you this many cycles I have. Load is same, but this after this many cycles it fails. Automatically the data will give you. Okay, for 1 kilonewton it took 1000 cycles to fail. 1 kilonewton. Okay, 1 kilonewton, how much stress? Let us say 10 MPa stress it came every cycle time. 10 kilonewton, 10 MPa the material underwent constantly. Okay, but 1000th cycle it failed. Got it this point? That no, that is somewhere here. That is somewhere here. Here. Okay, I'm drawing a fresh case. Okay. This is number of cycles of load. This is stress. Okay, so my first okay specimen. Okay, first specimen with 1 kilonewton. You can see here. Even I could not see. Okay, this one. Okay, say I set this 5, 6 set same thing. Only load got changed in each experiment. Here 1 kilonewton, 2 kilonewton, sinusoidal, 3 kilonewton, sinusoidal, 4 kilonewton. First this thing got failed. Okay, one particular load cycle. Just now you told, no, sir, I'm keep on applying the load. It failed at one particular cycle. Can you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Can I get number of cycles through electronics data? I can get. Yes. Good.
Yes, sir.
Now you come to second specimen, same specimen, load case 2. That is here 1 kilonewton means here 2 kilonewton. Okay. It is also failed. Okay. Do you think that? Okay. So when you apply 2 kilonewton, the stress level is earlier it was 10 MPa. Now this time it is 20 MPa. Agree with me or not?
Yes, sir.
Roughly
Yes, sir.
linear scale, linear scale. Okay. Now, do you think that the curve, okay, okay, second case, will it be here or here? So data 0.1, 0.2, where it will come?
0.2, sir.
One observation. Others?
Sir, 2 only I also think. Sir.
Yes, absolutely, you are correct. Absolutely, you are correct. Because it cannot go that many cycles, just less than some cycles, it will fail. Okay, good observation. Then third one, here. Fourth one, here. Fifth one, there. Agree with me? So if I connect, okay, now if I connect array, if I'm connecting, if this portion is correct, this portion is correct, no? Line.
Yes, sir.
This portion is you can understand. Okay. This portion you can understand. This is the typical ascent curve. Now you can see here one stage, okay, one stage, okay, infinite cycle. What is that? After a particular load, no failure, infinite. That is replicates here. Okay, ma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Not that may not be 1 kilonewton. Somewhere you keep on apply the load. It may fail, but it can go to crowth cycle, but I'm least bothered about. I can flat this thing. So this is the thing. So this is a particular load. Under that or up to that, no failure of that particular material. After that, okay, if I operate my aeroplane, okay, this many cycles, this component will fail. Got it? How the N and S connected?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a component is there in my aeroplane. Okay, a component, cross and cross of component inside. Let us take a component and a very special wing. Okay, spar or a rib. I'm monitoring. Okay, rib is monitoring. Now you yourself understood that even I'm not applying critical load, but my component will fail at one particular load. Okay, that statement now you are agreeing. Okay, but I don't know when it will fail. But for that particular rib material, using this SN curve, I can estimate how many times I can use that particular rib material. Can I do it or not? We can.
Yes, sir.
This is how so this is called SN curve. So every material or every component, you can run out this particular experiment and you can trace the SN curve. So why this SN curve, what way this SN curve is useful means you can easily get its life estimation. What is life estimation? N. What is N? Number of cycles. What is number of cycles? Number of cycles. This many times I can take the flight, ground the flight, take the flight, ground the flight. Can I estimate my time? No. This is where I have to replace my component inside the aeroplane, inside a submarine. Okay. Even your house, your tube light, Do you think that once you put the tube light, ever it is running, or one point in time you are changing? Tube light at your home.
Yes, sir.
How
Point
many?
in time.
Yeah. How many cycles? Some cycles you don't know, but the production fellow knew that. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All of you agreeing?
Yes, sir.
The product is designed like that only. This many cycles I switch off and switch on, my tube light will go exactly on the same day. That is how the capacity has been made. Because they won't make profit, no. Like those days, olden days, probably you might have seen Central Station or some good old building, British buildings and all, you might have seen a fan. Have you seen the ceiling fan? Very big motor fan and leaves and all. Have you seen it? Still after 100 years, it is running. Have you witnessed it somewhere?
In old houses. Yes, sir.
Very big, maybe very rich people, old rich people, you might have seen Central Station or some central government offices, state government, you might have seen. Because those days, this kind of competency was not there. So those fans are still it is running. But nowadays, it is not, because such a way that the product is been designed. This many cycles automatically, even TVs, picture tube is designed like that only. Only this many hours only you can see. After that, things will get diminishing. Have you noticed those things? Your cell phone. How many charges do you think that things will go smooth? Have you noticed?
For first 2 years or something, it will be normal. And after
Yes. Some problem. Otherwise, he will send you an update. Okay. He will ask you, if you do this update, you will have betterment. But once you do that update, automatically your battery will come down. Have you noticed it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
These are all the product development. Okay. So why all these things I'm telling means you are studying fracture mechanics. That means failure. Failure means you should know the general failures. You should know the what is world is going, how a tube light is been designed, how an aeroplane is been designed, how a chair is designed, what is SN curve, what is the history of thing. That is what all I have stopped. So what is you understood now? Even a load which is applying less also, which will cause failure. But when it will cause failure, I don't know. But by looking that materials SN curve, I can predict. So accordingly, I can design that particular component. It can be within ship, within aeroplane, for a chair, for a tube light, for a picture tube, for a cell phone, anything I can do. With that, can we stop today?
Okay, sir.
Fine. Any doubt you have?
Sir, for failure, does the load necessarily need to be cyclic, sir?
Reality, you see, that is where the point, no? Cyclic load, even applying less load, failure coming. That is the point.
Yes, sir.
Other load, for a lorry, the capacity is 10 ton. If I take 100 ton, lorry will fail just a kilometer if I run.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you sure? Okay. But the same lorry, even 10 ton capacity lorry, I am running 5 tons only. But over the period, lorry will fail.
Yes, sir, it will fail, sir.
So now you understood the importance of fatigue load. Got my point?
Okay, sir.
Yes. Same thing applied to my aeroplane, my ship, my tube light. You got it now? Same concept.
Yes, sir.
Same concept. Any doubt?
No other doubts, sir.
Okay, ma. Think of those things. You can have doubt also. You can ask. Okay. No, but you have to ask more doubts. Fine. We'll stop now. I'll take attendance. All of you present?
Yes, sir. Everyone are present, sir.
Good, ma. Good. See you. Bye in the next class.
Thank you,
And
sir.
project team. My project team?
Swaroop, sir.
Swaroop.
Yeah. Saru?
Swaroop.
What happened to him? Swaroop. Okay. Somebody, can you ask Swaroop to call me? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.